The Labour Party plot with the mainstream media, Jeremy Corbyn refuses to attend the Festival of Remembrance, and we travel to Romford to speak to the voters and the candidates. Now, today is the Remembrance Sunday, so I want to pay respect and tribute to our fallen heroes. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here today. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have the freedom to complain about the daily issues and the problems that we have in politics and in our lives. So on that note, let's talk about Jeremy Corbyn. Now, as you know, Saturday evening before the Remembrance Sunday, we have the Festival of Remembrance service where politicians and the royal family and other soldiers attend to pay tribute to our fallen heroes. And once again, Jeremy Corbyn refused to attend it. Jeremy Corbyn has been slammed for failing to show at the Festival of Remembrance to honour the British hero soldiers. The Labour leader's absence sparked outrage among the members of the public, who blast the move as a spectacular own goal by the party. Now, this is typical Jeremy Corbyn, but when we have an election, when you know that the whole country is watching you and every move, is this seriously the time to send a signal that you don't like this country and you don't care about the fallen soldiers and the whole system? It's just bad taste. But this is why the Labour Party are now, they need help. They've created a WhatsApp group with the mainstream journalists, journalists that were from the BBC Newsnight, Channel 4, The Guardian, to help spread propaganda about the Labour Party. The Labour staff have set up a private WhatsApp group with journalists to help Corbyn get into number 10. Jeremy Corbyn's communications staff have created a private group that includes journalists and columnists to help the Labour leader win the upcoming election. The group chat, called Greg's, was set up 2 weeks ago to reportedly coordinate election messaging and social media lines for the party's campaign, according to BuzzFeed. The first message in the group said, "Hi all, welcome to Greg's, the finest of the finest. We have a general election to win and wanted to create a space for us all to get info, updates and general movement. From us expect updates on JC and the shadow cabinet movement, lines, briefings, transcript and everything else." The group had 2 members of the Mr. Corbyn staff and around 20 journalists, activists and columnists. As we said, it's not unusual for MPs and parties to communicate with journalists through WhatsApp and other groups. But in this case, the Greg's group has been created purely to help Mr. Corbyn win this election. Now, as we said, the Labour Party in this election definitely needs some help because they are going through a massive crisis, whether it's their supporters leaving the party and their candidates saying ridiculous stuff and being forced to quit. We have one new candidate who said another ludicrous thing about ordinary people. The Labour candidate has said that the less educated are easy to control. Lower income, less educated, voiceless people are so much easier to control, and poverty is not by accident, it's by design. Louise Webberley, Labour's candidate in the Leave voting seat of Totnes, is not exactly going for outreach approach, sharing material on Facebook saying that the lower income, less educated, voiceless people are so much easier to control. Yep, this is the party we're dealing with. And I'm not surprised that a lot of the Labour activists who are campaigning out there in this election, their heart isn't really in the right place. Now, we have one activist, Jim Robbins, who tweeted, "A pretty dismal session on the Labour doorstep today. Raining, cold, my heart wasn't really in it, neither were the voters. Not much enthusiasm for a winter election. #honesty. This is the exact opposite of what we are seeing from Tory activists. There's no wonder why the Labour support has collapsed in the north and across the country when the voters are rejecting Jeremy Corbyn and his divisive politics. The latest polls show that the Conservatives are still going up. They are currently at 41%, and Labour is still struggling to even hit the 30% mark. And obviously the Lib Dems are still irrelevant at 16%, and the Brexit Party, well, 6%. We've been talking about the Conservatives and the Brexit Party recently a lot, and the founder of the Brexit Party, Catherine Blakelock, has gone on Twitter over the last couple of days, criticising her own party and saying that there's absolutely no point to the Brexit Party anymore. She tweeted saying that the Brexit Party will win 0 seats, zilch, null, none. Now, I wonder why. Now, we know what's happening in the polls, and we know the general mood in the country is no longer being purists and Puritans. People are going to be pragmatic, and they just want to get Brexit done, as Boris Johnson keeps repeating. So we'll see how that goes anyway. But both leave-leaning parties need to kind of focus on this election and make sure that Remainers don't win. If we have a home parliament again, Brexit could be over. So everybody needs to think carefully about this, regardless of our views and the differences that we have. Now, we travelled to Romford and spoke to a number of voters and the kind of supporters of this channel, but also the Conservative candidate Andrew Rosendale. So we're out in Romford, and we found the Romford Conservatives and the candidate Andrew Rosendale. We're going to have a quick chat with him to see how everything's going down here. Hello Andrew, we're in Romford. You've been an MP here for a long time. How's everything looking in this election?
Well, it's going to be a tough election across the country, but here in Romford I can tell you that there's a very clear message from everybody I speak to, and that is they want Brexit done. They voted for it and they want Boris to deliver it, and they believe he will. So even Labour voters are swapping to Conservative because they know that only Boris can deliver Brexit, and Jeremy Corbyn most certainly won't.
And do you have the Brexit party standing here? What's going on over there?
Oh, I don't know. I hope they don't, because I don't think there's a need to have two Brexit candidates. I am the Brexit candidate. I'm the Brexit Conservative candidate, and I back what Boris is doing to get Britain out of the European Union. So the message is clear. If you want to leave the EU, you vote Conservative.
If you're not willing to talk about it, engage with it, then you've got no right to complain about it. And it's vitally important. I mean, guys like you community journalists really do make a difference. You get people involved on YouTube who have frankly reached a point where most of the nation doesn't trust the BBC or Sky, for example.
But also, it don't matter what you like, what your political view is. You can have a discussion, and that's my point. Like, there's countries where you can get killed for having a view. Like modern back in the day. I was born in the 90s. You know, even going up to modern day now, there's people that will get. Look at China. There's a country. If you go against what they believe in, you're going to get caught up in some wrong thing. But yeah.
I like that you brought up China, because look at Hong Kong. It's like,
yeah, there you go. It's a classic example of it.
We want to vote for democracy. Okay, here's Communist Party 1, here's Communist Party 2. Have a vote.
And if you vote for the wrong Communist Party guy, we will put you in a detention centre.
People got their views, and I like the fact we have a view. And I do my job so people can have a view.
Now, as you know, on this channel, we are travelling around the country during the election, visiting various seats and regions to report from there, so that you're kind of up to date with the situation in this election. And towards the end of next week, we're going towards Midlands and the North, but on Tuesday, the upcoming Tuesday, we are in London. We are going to be around Westminster, where Chuka Umunna is going to stand, and also Kensington and Chelsea, where it's a big race with a lot of big names standing. So we'll report from there on Tuesday, and then towards the end of the week, Midlands and the North. So if you want to stay up to date to see where I'm going to be, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll let you know exactly where and when I'm going to be visiting your areas, if you want to come and say hi like everybody else did over the last few days. And as we mentioned yesterday, your requests have been accepted. We have created the new t-shirt designs, the Brexit Christmassy designs. We have the All I Want for Christmas is Brexit. This comes in the form of t-shirts, but also coffee mugs and phone cases and everything else. You could check out the link in the description if you want to check out the other t-shirts and everything else that we have. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click on the bell next to it, otherwise you won't get notified when I release a new video. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new video.